Yeah, I mean, you can score with your boner technically, so that could also be offside. It's ridiculous. Hey guys, welcome back to Pretentious Pundits, a podcast where we discuss all things football and pretend to know what we're talking about. Pretending is all we've been doing for the last couple of game weeks because we haven't gotten any predictions right.
Nothing. I don't even think we've got one.
Nothing. Absolute zilch.
Only
Uh,
the winners. I mean the results, but not the scoreline.
yeah, we at
No,
least get
we
the
talk.
results right. At least
Especially
one of us
the
gets the results right, so
especially the Spurs and oh my god,
let's not. Let's not. That was a very boring game to watch.
very boring game.
Anyways, this is the preview for game week 11, and the first fixture, Aston Villa versus Newcastle United, has been postponed. Yasser, why?
Because eight of Newcastle's players tested positive for the virus, and now everyone's afraid if there's an outbreak of the virus. So,
Yeah. I mean, reports started coming in first. Initially, the reports said that Newcastle players had been banned from the training ground because their players had tested positive. And then the news broke out that the match had to be postponed. Of virus amongst players is going to be controlled now. It's 8 now. It could have been much more, as we've seen in the past. I mean, obviously, Ajax's entire squad tested positive,
yeah.
and things could have been much worse. But I guess good for them that it's just 8 players now, and now that they've been banned from training and as well as the match has been postponed, the outbreak can be controlled. Players can self-isolate and recover. Anyways, quickly moving on to the next fixture, which is probably now the first fixture of the game week by default. That is Burnley hosting Everton, and this game is just one of those where if Everton show up with a positive outlook, they can go away with a very massive scoreline because Burnley just keep crumbling week after week, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. They just try to perform their game plan as they had planned it before, but it just doesn't work out. And it's really surprising. This is the first time I think any of us have seen Sean Dyche in the last couple of seasons perform so bad. And Shashik, what do you think Everton's goal will be in this game?
I think both teams are coming into this match with a loss. Yeah, so both teams are coming into this match with a loss, and I think Everton should, they should come in and they should take it as an opportunity to get a win because Burnley have just been leaking goals left and right. I think they've already conceded 17 goals this season, and it's nothing like what we saw last season. They were so solid at the back,
Yeah.
but this season they've just been leaking goals, and I think that's the main thing that Everton can exploit, especially Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and James is now back. So yeah, he'll be looking to get back to his old form. When the season started, he was looking fabulous, and since his injury, his form has dipped as well. Not only his form, but Everton's form in general has dipped after they lost him and Richarlison
Mm-hmm.
to injuries and the red card. So I think this game, Everton should look to get a win. But if Burnley do get a win, it's going to be a big boost to them in the relegation battle that's going on right now.
Yeah, fair enough. And I feel like for Burnley, it's high time that they need to start getting wins on the table because again they are right now the way things are, they're probably relegation contenders. I mean,
Exactly.
obviously, nothing is set in stone as of yet because it's too early in the season. I'm sorry, to call it. But still, if this is just a preview of things to come for Burnley, then I'm afraid that this is the season where they go back down to the Championship. And also Manchester City versus Fulham being our next fixture. So yeah, quickly moving on to that, Yasir, could this be one of those massive score lines in your opinion?
yeah, City were in great form last game week. You know that final win against Burnley.
Went to
Well,
town.
exactly. Mahrez was very clinical. I didn't see that happening because in the past games he was really out of form.
Yeah.
But then they picked it up. They did really well. And then they looked really positive as well. So yeah, Burnley again had to face the brunt of it. You know, they hate going to the Etihad and getting the
Fulham.
asses. No, the previous game week, Burnley got their asses handed to them. But this game week, yeah, Fulham are coming off of a really positive result against Leicester, where they got that win, which is very crucial for them. You know, those points on the table for them. Now they are sitting 17th, so 2 wins now. So that's great for them. But again, against City, it just looks very bleak. You know, every time and at home, they are playing at home, and Fulham play really expansive football. I would say,
Yeah.
think they are a relegation. I think they are contenders for the relegation. So, but yeah, they play really expansive football for a relegation side. But against City, you know, they have to game manage the game really well, and then hope just hope and pray that City don't come like bring the A game. And yeah, that's about it.
Obviously, both City and Fulham focus on possession in the entire game, and it's. I mean, I think the challenge for Scott Parker is going to be how is he going to deal with not having the ball this time around. In majority of the fixtures when they're not playing a top six side, they expect to have majority of the possession. Is what they aim for. It's part of their game plan. But obviously against City, there is no chance you're gonna have greater possession than them. Because yeah, obviously a Pep Guardiola side possession is a key aspect. So it's just to see how they're gonna deal with that. Obviously they've got a few good players. Like obviously attack is pretty fabulous, but against City, I think all teams pale in comparison, especially if teams like Fulham, who are sitting 17th, like you said. Good for them that they've charted already 2 wins this season. That's better than what can be said for other teams in the relegation zone. But yeah, they're still right in that dead zone. This could go south at any time, and this is probably one of those fixtures where it will, because obviously City, they're a gigantic team, and none of the bottom half teams expect to get away with a win. Even the top half teams don't go in completely expecting a win. So it's going to be a real challenge. Swiftly move on to the next fixture, West Ham versus Manchester United, and this is one of those like where I can't call it. I honestly, even if I tried, I wouldn't be able to call it, because
Yeah.
West Ham have been so brilliant this season, despite maybe dipping in form compared to the way they started. You don't know when they'll pull the ace out of the hole,
I
and
mean, they did it against Spurs. We saw 3-0 Spurs were leading, and then the moment Spurs defense started, sleeping, they took advantage of it and they made it 3-3. And I think United are coming into this with a loss against PSG, and they looked horrible defensively in that match,
yeah.
and they missed so many opportunities in front of goal as well. So I think if the defense goes on sleeping like that, and they lack the concentration, then West Ham are going to easily exploit it.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah,
good
West
chance
Ham
they might.
West Ham won 2-1 last weekend as well. So they are coming off of a positive result, and they have had that week to recover as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, over Manchester United. Obviously, the problem again being for Manchester United, the consistency. We've said it time and time again, and so have everybody. But this is probably going to be a challenge for them, because obviously their players aren't rested, whereas West Ham has had that 1 week of rest. And regardless of what we might say, playing against West Ham is a tough job, especially this season, because somehow David Moyes has managed to bring out the potential in the West Ham side that was lying dormant.
Exactly.
Because now West Ham don't only look good on paper, they also look good on the pitch. They've been missing Antonio for a few fixtures in the past, I guess, but obviously that's not stopped them. Haller recently scored, so I guess that's going to be helping his confidence a lot. And so West Ham are actually in a good position right now. They're feeling pretty confident. They've done really well this season. So obviously that's going to be a challenge for Manu.
but Man United, I feel that against Southampton, they showed great character, I would say, because
Yeah.
going 2-0 down and then bringing it back up. You know, Fernandez had a huge part to play, and Cavani, he did really well to get that assist and that goal as well. So those goals, I think he scored two as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
he
scored
did.
a
Did
brace and he gave an
exactly,
assist.
Yeah.
exactly. That's huge. And yeah, I don't know. United, like you said, inconsistency again. You just don't know what you're gonna get from the game.
It's
They
really
might turn
hard.
up for this one, and then they
Yeah.
might not. You just don't know.
It's
Yeah,
very hard to call a United game, at least this season, because of how inconsistent they've been.
and West Ham obviously sitting fifth in the table, which is doing them the
It's
world of
crazy.
good in terms of confidence.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody expected West Ham to be this high up in the table, let alone West
Especially
Ham.
after last season. They were in the relegation zone for almost the entire season.
About the fixtures to be played on Sunday, there are quite a few. Chelsea versus Leeds being the first one, the opening fixture on Sunday. Yasser, as a Chelsea fan, how big a threat do Leeds pose to you right now?
Yeah, I watched Leeds play this season, and we always expect them to give you a really tough fight. Physically, especially, the running. They're not gonna let you just rest for a second at least. Like never, they're gonna let you rest. So Chelsea have to be really on their toes. I think we were brilliant against Sevilla in midweek. 4 goals, Giroud. I hope that he starts this game because he's been in. I think
Incredible form.
exactly Lampard. Wanted to rotate the squad, so 9 players were rested. I didn't see Zuma or Thiago Silva feature in that, not even on the bench. So they were rested, and now we are. So hopefully now we have a fresh squad. Because Leeds is the game is going to be really difficult because every time you play Leeds, they're going to make you work really hard off the ball, on the ball. So yeah, I hope Giroud starts his game because he's on that position, and on the wing we can see maybe Pulisic or Werner, Ziyech. Even Hudson-Odoi was really impressive in that game. But yeah, I think it's a pretty huge rival club for us because in the past it's been. I think Leeds fans really hate us because the fact that I think it goes back to that 1970 FA Cup final where they beat us, where we beat them, and since then they haven't really recovered from it.
Yeah.
But then, and there's that element to it as well where Lampard and Bielsa had that spat in the championship where the Spygate and everything and the press conferences. So yeah, this game off the pitch has a lot going for it. It might be a really feisty affair, and are fans back this weekend as well? I'm hearing that the fans
Yeah.
are allowed to enter stadium.
Only
So
for select clubs. Some of
Select
the
clubs.
clubs are still not being allowed. I think both the Manchester clubs are out of the
I think
equation.
it's split into two waves. So they've
yeah,
allowed certain for the first, and they're going to do it for the second. I
Yeah.
think 4,000 fans in
Yeah,
the
I
stadium.
think 2000 is what I heard
Uh,
when the initial reports broke out, but I guess it's 4 now.
it's 4,000 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but what's still confirmed is that both Manchester clubs are not
they're
allowed to
not.
host
Yeah, they're not
fans.
allowed. Yeah.
So yeah,
yeah. Arsenal had their fans allowed back into the stadiums last night against
yeah.
against Vienna, I think it was.
Hmm. And obviously, Manu won't be able to because they're playing away. But I guess the bigger question right now being, how do you think Chelsea performed in that Champions League fixture? I mean, does that give you a hint of positivity because of the defense you you played? It's your second best defense, and most of your defenders in this lineup are prone to errors. Christensen, Emerson, they've been in horrible run of form. So considering they pulled off, they picked up a clean sheet along with the 4 goals Giroud scored. So what kind of a positive impact is that going to have on Chelsea?
Yeah, I feel like that was really professional for them because they have been out of the squad for so long. I think Rudiger as well. He was dropped. He was not on the bench for very long,
Mm-hmm.
and then he came back in the team and he earned a spot. I would say because in this game Christensen played really well as well because he that game against Liverpool he hasn't been featured in any game after that. So yeah, considering the backline that we played for that game, I think that result was brilliant. I didn't see it happening because that backline had consist of Emerson as well, who's I think been a liability this season in defense. But yeah, it was really positive from Chelsea. Keeping a clean sheet against the Europa League winners, it's
Mm-hmm.
huge.
And Shashak, in terms of Leeds, what do you think they are going to be expecting from this fixture?
I mean, we've seen time and time again the way Leeds play. It's just so much of fun to watch every single Leeds game. The football they play is just amazing, and I think it's going to be more of the same against Chelsea as well. I mean, they don't really care who they play against because they're just going to make the team work hard. So the amount of the pressure, the constant pressure that Leeds put, I don't know what steroids they take, but they never rest. They're like
They
always
never do.
pressurizing the opponents, and it's just amazing to see. So you can't write Leeds off because they've been I won't say they've been great this season, but they've been decent. They've had a decent start. But then again, they're coming up against a Chelsea team who is, they won 4-0. They've kept a clean sheet
Mm-hmm.
past 2 games, 3 games. I'm not sure. Uh,
Yeah,
but a Chelsea team who are in great form as well, and they're scoring for fun as well. Chelsea against Sevilla, Europa League winners as well. So I think Leeds should aim for at least a point in this match. If they can capitalize, I mean, their counter attacks are fabulous to see. I mean, they break down defenses so easily. So I think what Leeds can look at for from this match is at least a point, if
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah,
What are your
Uh,
predictions for this one? Because I feel like this is one of those big fixtures
it's
of
one
this
of those
game.
big fixtures. Yeah,
yeah, I
which is why.
guess 2-1 to Chelsea. I feel like Leeds might get that goal.
Exactly.
Leeds might get a goal. Leeds might be the first club to actually test Edward Mendy.
Hmm.
We thought Spurs would do it last game week, but surprisingly they didn't.
I
Uh,
think Leeds might score purely because I saw. I mean, we saw last week how Reece James and Ben Chilwell they push so far. I mean, they push ahead very.
yeah.
I mean, they push front a lot, and Leeds counter attack is really good, and
Yeah,
they have very
considering defenders like Thiago Silva are going to start, and Silva is not necessarily known for his pace.
yeah, and Leeds are known for their pace. So I mean, that's purely the reason why I could say Leeds would score, and I was gonna say 2-1 to Chelsea as well.
What about you, Yasser?
I'm going for a. I think this is going to be a high scoring game, so 4-2 to Chelsea.
4-2. That would be fun to
Crazy.
watch. I
That would
mean,
be.
if Bamford needs to start taking his chances, man. I mean, if he would have scored half the chances that he got this season, Leeds would have been in a much better spot right now, guaranteed.
Yeah, I feel
And
like they're missing that. I mean
final
that
finish, final
that
touch.
final finish because they break down defenses, but they just don't have that
Yeah,
final
nothing
touch. I
ever
mean,
comes of it. Yeah.
He's
a
an
lot.
ex Chelsea player as well, so
Yeah,
Yeah. So, anyways, moving on to the next fixture, West Brom versus Crystal Palace, and this is one of those where Crystal Palace is probably aiming for a win.
they
And
should.
yeah, and I guess any result other than a win for Roy Hodgson would be a bad week, I would say, because less Crystal Palace mainly aim to win these kind of games, because
Hmm.
obviously the tougher ones are relatively nobody pegs them to win those. These are some of the fixtures. Considering their form so far this season, I'm expecting a win from them. And considering how West Brom have played so far this season, I mean, obviously they were outside the relegation zone, and I guess now they're back into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were.
yeah, West Brom are, yeah. They are
Yeah,
18th.
I think the positive that West Brom can get into this match is they come here with a win. The
they
f-
do. Yeah,
yeah, and I think it's the first win of their season as well. So I think
It is, yeah.
And I think West Brom, I won't say they've looked bad when they're playing because I think get going forward, we saw against Chelsea as well. They were quite good. They took their chances. It's
mm-hmm.
only defensively where they lack a lot of confidence. So I think they got that confidence in the previous match when they kept a clean sheet as well. So I think that's the only thing they can take, to somehow get something from this match. Other than that, I think it's Crystal Palace's game to
Yeah. I
win.
mean, I completely agree with you. Ever since the beginning, West Brom attacking has not looked like much of a problem to them. The fact that they did so well against Leicester in the opening minutes,
Exactly.
and obviously it was down to holding that lead, but they couldn't. So it's that's been one of the major problems for them, holding leads that they build up. They've blown it on two occasions, and two both against big name teams. But Crystal Palace obviously can never be written off because their counter attacking is so good. And for a team whose defense is the problem, I feel like dealing with a counter attack is something that they're not gonna want to be doing in the game.
Exactly. Especially with
So
Zaha.
yeah, especially with Zaha and Ayu running onto you, and obviously there's Eberechi Eze, who's always a threat. The
Yeah.
creativity in
Yeah, but
midfield.
Crystal Palace, last two games they have dropped. They have lost their last two games against Burnley and Newcastle. I would say against lowly opposition because they're
Yeah,
considering their position in the table. But is Zaha back for this one? Because I think he's back for this one.
yeah,
Zaha
I
is
think
back.
he is.
He is back for this one.
Yeah, the problem being Newcastle again. Newcastle and Crystal Palace, if you compare those two sides, it's anybody's game. So I guess they shouldn't take that loss too harshly. The West Brom one, however, yes. The West Brom one they need to look into. But I feel like considering how they've played so far this season, and obviously the defensive woes for West Brom being very leaky at the back, I feel like this could actually go in Crystal Palace's favor. They just need to show up, bring their A game, and the 3 points are theirs. There's the next fixture, Sheffield United versus Leicester, and this could be one of those where unexpected scorelines from Leicester. We're used to
Yeah.
seeing. I mean, they've scored some insane amount of goals in the last couple. I mean, last season obviously there was 9-0. This season there was the final at City, was it?
5-2, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, 5-2, 5-2. My bad, 5-2 at City, and yeah, so this could be one of those fixtures because again, like I feel like this is a common occurrence amongst all the bottom teams. They're very leaky defensively this season,
Exactly.
and I guess for Sheffield the problem is all throughout the pitch. They're not very good going forward. They are very bad at defense also.
Mm.
So I
I
guess
think
I
it's
think
been
they have
horrible.
missed the biggest, I think, chances, open chance, I would say. What do you call it?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Big chances created, I
Yeah,
feel
the
like.
They
big
missed
chance
the
created.
most goals from open play.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are just scored 4 goals in the entire
Yeah.
season.
exactly.
That's
It's kind of ridiculous. I feel like obviously the forwards are not showing up. I don't know
yeah.
what's the problem there. Uh, and again, it's just getting more and more miserable for them at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna get any easier. It's December. This is
Exactly.
perhaps one of the toughest period of time for any English team. So this is gonna be one of those days where probably Leicester are gonna get an easy win. And that's all I guess there is to say to it, because if Sheffield, I don't see them winning this. I don't possibly see them winning or drawing this, in fact, because Leicester have that quality. And I guess Sheffield are completely at their mercy. So it's I guess the onus is on Leicester to do what they have to do with this game. If they show up and they can get the job done, then this could be one of those high scoring games. If they don't,
Yeah,
I still feel
Leicester,
like it could be a cagey affair, but they could get the goal.
exactly. But Leicester, I think they have had they didn't have a positive result at the weekend, but they saw a few of the players returning with Soyuncu coming back into the team.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
also Ricardo came back to the team,
uh,
so that's, I think, that can be a really good thing if he gets some game time in this one. But I don't think he's
Yeah.
entirely fit because ACLs are obviously very difficult to recover from.
Mm-hmm.
and I think
But yeah,
Justin is doing well as a replacement for Ricardo. So I think he will continue to start. But I think this is a game for Leicester to. I mean, I think they're easily going to win this one,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering the previous weekend when they were very frustrated with the result. I think this weekend they're just going to have that more. They're going to play that much better to.
Yeah, I
To
guess, and if there was one time to improve upon their form, I guess that would be now against
exactly.
an opposition that's not in a really good place. And yeah, the next fixture, obviously the fixture of the game week, the North London derby, Tottenham versus Arsenal. And again, guys, I would like to jump straight to Yasir. Last week we expected Tottenham to at least score a couple of goals, but they couldn't. And obviously both teams left very frustrated after that draw. And what do you think Tottenham are thinking about coming into this game?
yeah, last week was disappointing for Chelsea and Tottenham, I would say, because you want to win those games to, get those points over your title rivals, I would say. But yeah, Tottenham, their game plan when they came into the game was very simple. It was Everton versus City, it was Everton versus Chelsea, that they wanted to just sit back and hit them on the counter when it was time, when they win the ball, or when they. It's just very similar to see Spurs. This is the way they play now. And under Pochettino is different, obviously, but this is, I think, Tottenham are really focusing on getting those results, because I think it's high time that they get those results and try to push for a Champions League spot, or now, considering last season they finished in the Europa League. But yeah, it's been last game week was really frustrating, I would say, for Tottenham, not scoring goals with that front, uh, Kane, Son, scoring goals for fun, assisting each other. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, and there's always that added pressure because it's the North London derby, and I guess this is one game where form doesn't matter, regardless of how pathetic Arsenal's season has been this thus far. I mean, obviously, North London derby, and we're used to seeing Arsenal pull off an upset in these fixtures, and this is at this point I would say it's still Tottenham's game, purely because of the fact that Arsenal have been abysmal this season. They've lagged in terms of scoring goals. Has been one of their key problems, not being able to score enough.
Creativity, yeah.
Yeah, creativity has been the biggest problem. And Shashik, what do you think? Arsenal are thinking of like coming into this game? Do they actually are they actually going to try and get 3 points from this, or are they going to try to play safe and get a point?
I think I initially wanted to talk about. I mean, their form has been so bad. They've had one win in the last 5 games. It's been 3 losses in those 5 games as well, and it's been pathetic their form. And I think only thing they could look for from this game is a draw, nothing more. But what I don't understand from Arsenal as a club is they gave Unai Emery such less time, and they're giving Arteta so much time. And I don't. They're currently in 14th place. They're just 6 points off the relegation zone. And a club the status of Arsenal, you don't expect seeing them at 14th place. I mean, okay, fine, we're only 10 games into the season, but the performances that Arsenal have been putting are below par from a top six club. And I don't see. I mean, okay, fine, they're giving him time. I get it, but then I'm pretty sure the fans are also uh, angry with this the way they've been performing.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Arteta, it's a process because you hire a manager. I think Unai Emery was obviously took over that really difficult job from Wenger.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think the club is in a really transitional position. But in the Europa League, they look really decent because they won 5 games, I think, because of the lower opposition that they face. But
But
Arsenal,
again,
again,
Europa League's fine, but then how are they going to qualify for that if they're going to sit in 14th place in the Premier League table and struggling against not even the top six? They're struggling against teams who finish mid-table and below. I mean, in the relegation zone, and they've just looked so bad. They've conceded 12 goals, scored only 10, I think.
they
Uh,
have, yeah.
and I think coming up against Spurs, who've been, I mean, deadly in front of goal. Except for the last game, they've been deadly in front of goal, and that Son and Kane connection has been amazing. So I think the only thing Arsenal can look forward from this game is a point, nothing more than that.
Yeah, and especially considering the fact that they have spent money this season on problem areas. Obviously, they brought in Gabriel, and then players like Thomas Partey have been brought in to fix some much need, very visible holes in the squad. And yet the results have not been seen so far. So I guess the problem is that the big name players, the big name signings, they're not showing up.
And Aubameyang's form has been horrible since
Yeah, I
he.
mean, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
We talk about this week in week out that ever since he signed the contract, he's not he's not had a really good time at Arsenal. And I don't know what's going on through Arteta's head right now. Obviously, it's a very frustrating time for him and the players. But what they do need to realize is that being a traditional top six side and having so much pedigrees, having so much history, performances like these, they're just a black mark, if anything. And this cannot go on. Absolutely, obviously, I haven't talked to a single Arsenal fan who's willing to look at the positives right now, because there are none. There
Yeah,
are
there
close
are.
to no positives right now for Arsenal, and if they keep going like this, they could see a repeat of last season, if not worse.
Yeah.
So obviously, and Tottenham, I know they've drawn their last 2 games. Obviously, the Europa League fixture, they drew 3-3, and I guess that would have been really frustrating for them. Obviously, but they were not playing their starting 11. They were playing a substitute squad, rotation, and all that. So, regardless of how frustrating that might have been, obviously Joe Hart playing really pathetic, had
Yeah.
a shambolic display in that game. Regardless, I feel like if obviously they're going to start Lloris this time, and I feel like Mourinho is going to do what he couldn't do last game week, is get 3 points,
Exactly.
because this is, I think, the easiest time for Tottenham. That this is
Yeah.
probably the best time this fixture could have come around for them, and Mourinho is definitely going to be looking to get
I
those three
think the
points.
only thing that can stop them from getting the 3 points is Leno in goal. He's been so
Yeah,
fabulous in goal. I think that's the only thing stopping Spurs from getting the 3 points.
yeah, I guess, and it depends again on how many chances they create.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
that's gonna be the name of the game for them. Anyways, swiftly moving on to the next fixture that's gonna be played on Monday.
Before we
Liverpool
move on, I
versus
think
Wolves.
predictions. We should get into
Oh yeah,
predictions.
my bad. I forgot about that completely. I don't know. I just don't feel like predicting Arsenal games. I don't want to insult anyone, man. I feel like it's gonna be 3-0 Spurs.
I was going to say the exact same thing. 3-0 Spurs. I don't think Arsenal are going to score at all. I don't think they're going to
Yeah, I
score.
don't see them scoring.
can't see them
I
scoring.
feel like it's going to be really cagey this one because Arsenal really turn up for these games. Even
They
though
do, they
that
do, they
They
do.
do. They do.
But I feel
I'm
like
going for
this is
a
one of those, you know,
yeah. I
like
think 2-1 to Tottenham.
2-1, fair enough. Again, I know you say that it's going to be a cagey affair. The only reason I'm going for a clean sheet and 3 goals scored by Tottenham is because I feel like this is one of those times where Arteta is actually going to be terrified going up against Spurs side,
Yeah.
because right now they're in impeccable form,
Amazing form.
and I wish the same could be said for Arsenal, but unfortunately they're quite the opposite, in fact. But yeah, moving on to the next fixture, Liverpool versus Wolves. I don't know what we're gonna do for this one. Obviously,
I
we got that 1-0 victory at I mean, obviously we got that 1-0 victory at Anfield against Ajax.
I would say that's very lucky.
Yeah, I watched the game, and I feel like
Right.
Ajax bossed
Yeah.
the game for majority of the
Exactly.
majority of the game. They were obviously the best. Liverpool being the second best for the majority of the game, and then the Curtis goal again, really lucky. A very rare mistake from Onana.
Hmm.
It's not very often you see him make those mistakes, but he did, and it cost them. But I guess the positive I could take is a clean sheet, despite having to deal with so much pressure. We were still able to keep a clean sheet with that makeshift defense. And
Cameron goal was really good as well.
yeah, he was Kelleher, and I feel like Adrian is gonna start for this one.
No, I think Keller will start. I think just
Isha?
purely because his performance was so good in the Champions League,
It
he's gonna.
was, it was. I agree. It was,
I
and
highly doubt Adrian will
yeah,
start.
actually, come to think of it, I too feel like Kelleher might start for this one, because obviously we're gonna be playing a much better defense
Yeah.
as compared to our Champions League side. Again, it's probably going to be Nico Williams in the right back position, and that's one thing I'm not particularly happy about. I was really pissed off the way he gave the penalty against Brighton, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's been decent so far in Champions League against Ajax. He played pretty well, but again, he's not looked that great.
I think
So,
it'll take
anyways,
time for him.
yeah, and speaking of Wolves, I guess over the last couple of seasons they've really threatened Liverpool.
Yeah.
Really threatened Liverpool. They've pushed us to the edge.
Yeah.
There were really close wins in those. There was a 2-1 victory, I guess, last season, and I guess there was a 1-0 victory somewhere in the last couple of 2 seasons, which was really close. And it's really hard to play against Wolves,
And I think
regardless of when you face them.
Nico Williams is going to struggle against the pace of Pedro Neto
Yeah,
and Daniel Podence, and also Adama Traore on the right. Robertson is going to struggle. I mean, Wolves have so much pace going up front. Even though, I mean, in the last game they lost to Arsenal, they lost Jimenez. I mean,
yeah, they
Getwen,
Yeah.
did.
but then they lost him so early, but they still put on such a brilliant performance with the strike force that they have. So I think that's going to be a big problem for Liverpool, and Wolves will be looking to exploit Liverpool's lack, the defense that we're lacking right now.
So it's probably, I don't know. Can we call this a big fixture?
I
I
mean,
think considering the other fixture this game week, I think this
yeah,
you can call it somewhere near the third best fixture of the
yeah,
game week.
Yes, probably the third best fixture of the next week. I mean,
I
of
think it's
this
up
game
there.
week.
I think it's up there with Chelsea and Leeds.
Yeah, probably the exact same kind of
Yeah,
game.
the exact same
But
time.
obviously Chelsea and Leeds being more enticing.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's just try and predict this one, I guess. What do you think, Yasir?
Yeah, I feel like Wolves did really well against Arsenal in that game where they got that goal. They did really well, I would say, but again, against coming against Liverpool at Anfield, it's never going to be easy. So I'm going for a 2-1 win to Liverpool.
Fair enough. That's actually, it actually coincides with all the previous fixtures that we've played against them. It's always been that KG. What about you, Shashik?
I think it's going to be very close. I don't know why, but I think I think it's going to be a 2-1 win. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet. I definitely
Yeah, I
don't.
definitely don't.
So I think 2-1 win to Liverpool.
Fair enough. I don't know why I said definitely don't, but I feel like I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-0 victory to Liverpool. I think we might be able to keep the clean sheet.
Yeah.
Jimenez is not there. Jimenez
Jimenez,
isn't there.
but then
So
again, like I said, it's just the pace.
yeah, but I feel like again it is the pace, but I think we could deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's bringing
And
us
Van
to the last
Dijk is back
fixture.
to the gym, so let's go.
And that brings us to the last fixture: Brighton Hove Albion versus Southampton. Uh, oof, this is really tough.
Very tough.
It's
Very
really
tough.
tough.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm going to be expecting from this game. What do you think, Yasir?
Southampton last game week, obviously they went 2-0 up to United, but they
Completely
conceded those
bottled
three
it.
goals. Exactly. And Brighton are 16th in the table right now, which I would say is really harsh on them because we say this time and time again because they just can't get results going for them. They put in really good performances, but yeah, but Southampton look like a really good team. They know that their system is really great. It's working out really well for them. I feel like, yeah, I think it's going,
Very hard to call.
Hmm.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I feel like
But yeah, I feel like
they're
South.
going to be brimming with confidence coming off of last game week. Obviously, they held us to a draw, and that's going to be one of their positives because they obviously could have won that. So I guess that's something going on through Graham Potter's mind that we emulated a really if we can emulate the exact same performance we had there in this game, considering how Southampton bottled that game last week. This actually could be one of those fixtures that Graham Potter is looking to win. And obviously, it's going to be the same for Ralph Hasenhüttl as well. We've seen him; he's not, he's not one for staying in the same zone. Like if you lose, just move on. Try to get a victory the next game week. And Southampton can actually. They're doing pretty well this season. Obviously, they're in the top half. They're sitting sixth. It's pretty high, and they've done really well so far
Yeah,
this season. And again, they've been missing Danny Ings, who's back in training. But again, it's going to be a really tight affair. Is he going to start? Is he not going to start? If he starts, the game is going to be a whole different dimension. If he doesn't, then I guess it goes back to the same exact performance they've put up against Man United last week, the same tactics, but the only thing that's going to change is probably their mentality towards this game. They're actually going to be looking to get the job done this week, that they couldn't get it done last week, so they're going to be looking to get the job done this week. But again, like you've said, Brighton have their performances don't reflect their position in the table. Don't so yeah I feel like twice this season they've been hard done by VAR decisions. One in that Man United game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. And obviously, the one against Crystal Palace, the really soft penalty decision that was given there, given against them.
Let's
Uh,
not talk soft penalty decisions.
yeah, I mean, let's not. Let's not. I feel like
I
Southampton
think
could come away with a
the
win.
last. I just have to speak about that penalty miss from Morpay.
Oof.
It's just so bad because considering you're in such a dire position in the table, you're not getting results, and then you go and do that where you don't give getting on target. You get on target fine. You convincingly hit the ball on target, but he
Saw
missed the target, which is very bad.
Adamola Lookman try that in the 90th minute. I mean plus added time, and he tried a Panenka.
The Panenka.
It was so horrible.
It's kind of
And
ridiculous, yeah.
yeah, I don't know why they try that in the dying ends, considering the position they are in the table.
Dele Alli did that this week, and
Yeah.
he scored. He scored, so kudos to him. But
I
yeah,
mean, you should know when to try these things.
yeah, I feel like penalties against top six you have to convert.
Have to convert.
Yeah,
You can't.
these are the best chances you're probably gonna get in the match. And obviously Brighton got two penalties that
Yeah,
game.
considering the way VAR works as well, you're gonna get a lot of penalties, and if you just put them away, you might get results. Like you can just defend the leads.
Yeah, if I
But
had to sum up this season so far, I would sum it up saying, I'd probably say the following to sum it up: VAR, penalties, offsides.
take a lot of time for them to referees to get
Yeah,
used to it and
man.
use it like efficiently.
I mean, they've had two seasons now. This is the second season. I feel like they should have learned from the last season. Last season, I don't think we had so many issues.
Yeah, I think it's. I think this season they brought in the change where referees can go to the monitor and see. Even despite that, the referees are still making, I mean, bad decisions.
I think there have been many changes in rules. They
Yeah,
have
the
really.
handball rules I don't get. The handball
The
rules are
handball
so
rules just don't make sense.
yeah, they don't make sense to me anymore.
We can just keep going on and on
Yeah, I
about
guess we'll have
this.
to make a separate episode for